The way that you're going to save time is not by following the same process, seeing a perfect sight picture as you train a lot and then you see that picture faster. That's not the way it works. The way that you save time is by cutting time out of your aiming strategy. Let me give a few possibilities. All right, so I'm going to look at that black spot on the target, or if there's not a black spot there, I'm going to direct my attention to a very small spot on the target. Now, does that change if the target's far or close? No, it doesn't. It's really important. You always direct your attention to a small spot on the target, always. And the way that you take advantage, I suppose is a good way of putting it, take advantage of the closer targets is by aiming less or confirming less. So some possibilities are just aiming, seeing the outline of your gun. So I look at a spot, like let's say Joel needed to get gun for whatever reason. You know, I see the outline of my gun on the target, all right? And depending on the distance, that might work for me. So like 2, 3, 4, 5 yards, that'll probably work, okay? Out to 10 yards, 12 yards, guys with dots, maybe you just see the color of the dot. So your dot doesn't even look like a dot. You just see the color and react to that. That's why fiber optic sights are nice. I can bring the gun up and without regard for the rear sight at all, I can just react to the color of the sight. And then as the distance and difficulty increases, I'll get more and more towards a perfect sight picture with equal height, equal light, in the front sight perfectly set. So I'm going to show you a little exercise to highlight this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll give you the aiming strategy I want you to employ on each one of these targets. And you're going to start with the gun pointed at the target stand, at the tone. At the tone, you bring the gun up to the black dot. And then when you see, you see the right thing, you're going to react immediately by pressing the trigger. Okay? So your attention's always on a small spot, and then you wait to see a certain thing from your sights. At this distance, what's appropriate is the color of your fiber optic, without respect for the rear sight. You don't need to worry about that. Or just the color of your dot. So you just react to the color. That make sense? All right. So I want you to watch how long the gun's on target before the shot gets fired. So I'm looking at the black dot. How long was that gun pointed there before I fired?
Almost immediately.
Yeah, it was almost immediately. The rule for me was the targets are this close. If I draw a line between your eye and the target, like as soon as the gun gets to that line, you should recognize that and boom, get on the trigger right away. All right? This type of shooting, this like color confirmation, like just reacting to color, this is where most of you can save lots of time. Okay? Lots. The target back there, now I'm going to bring the gun up and I'm going to see fiber stopped through the rear sight. If you're shooting a dot gun, your dot should look like a dot, not a streak, but a dot. It doesn't need to be stopped and stable, but it should look like a dot. Okay? So we'll see how much time this adds. How much time does that add? Good. You say not a whole lot, you're shaking your head like it's not a big deal. It's 0.2 of a second difference. If I take that over a stage and stack that up over like 12 targets, it's a shitload of time, right? What the takeaway is for this, for most of you, what it's gonna be is like, oh, if the targets are of a certain distance, I've gotta be just reacting to that color. That's where I'm gonna make time. One challenge that pretty much everybody has is as the targets get closer and faster, they stop looking to a small spot in the center of the target. They stop doing that and they just look at the shape, the color, and they're like, go faster, and they start blasting. Okay? That's not, you're like, yeah, fuck you. Wait, oh, no, that's not the move. You're gonna look at a spot, and again, you adjust your speed. This is why I don't like terminology about like pacing, like how fast I go. It ain't about fast or slow. I'm gonna direct my attention to a small spot on the target. Doesn't matter how far it is. But then depending on the distance, difficulty, and risk of the target, I'm just gonna apply a different aiming scheme. Like when I see the sight flash a certain way on the target, like I'm just standing there waiting to see that. And when I see it, boom, I start shooting. The takeaway from this is gonna be at these close range targets, you can really get after it but you do it by reacting to the color of your sights. Practical shooting training, got drills, live fire drills, some guidance for dry fire, some dry fire drills, lots of different places you can start. It works for people of all different levels. If you want to train seriously with a handgun, especially for competition, this is the one to get.